All right, testing. Hopefully this is going to work. I'm going to go check Twitch. I have no idea what's going on. I've not live streamed in way too long, and Twitch is not working. It's showing that there was video if I go back and watch the old stream with me looking really confused and not working. This is fun. This is fun. Let me see if it's working. I wonder if Twitch is having an outage or if there's something weird going on with my setup. But I think it's Twitch. Super weird. Looks like it's working on YouTube, but not on Twitch. Very confusing. Just testing that one more time while I play with this. Yes, I can even hear myself. Just nothing on Twitch. That's so weird. Okay. Not sure how we're handling this, but we're just going to hope that Twitch catches up, because that's about all I can think of doing. So yeah, excited. Going to be streaming for the first time in a long time. It's been so long. So hopefully all of my setup works. Just verified, yeah, YouTube's working. So if you can't see me on Twitch, just try YouTube because it's super weird. But excited because I have been working for about a month and a half now on a game. And it's been like every time I've got a chance to code or work, that's what I've been working on. And I'm going to work on some of that on stream today. Really excited because I'm doing it all in Godot, which has been a new learning experience. I've done a lot in Unity and Unreal in the past, but I'm really excited for Godot because Godot's fun. It's a nice new engine. I mean, it's not that new, but it's finally getting some traction and a lot of people are starting to play with it. And I am really having a blast with it. Also, I realized I don't have chat up on that monitor. It's been way too long since I've done this, so all of my stuff is not set up right. So give me a second to bring this up to here. Yeah. Oh well, that's good enough. I can see messages. All right, so yeah, it says live. People are saying that Twitch just isn't showing video. All right, so yeah, this is going to cause a lot of confusion today as people are like, why isn't Twitch working? So I might just turn off Twitch because, no, I'll leave it because it did the recording work before. Oh well. Too many issues. We're just going to rely on YouTube today. So yeah, let me kill this. And I'm just going to turn off Twitch because it's not working. All right, Twitch is off. We're just going to do this to YouTube. Now that I've wasted all that fun time messing with things, let's jump in. Let's start playing with something. So hopefully this all is working fine. Looks like it is. So I'm going to be working in Godot. Godot, like I said, is it's a newer-ish engine. It does allow you to use C# and Mono and all that type of stuff. The newer versions did switch over to using .NET instead of Mono, which is interesting. So a lot of people who are targeting mobile are still using the 3-ish series instead of the 4X. So I'm running Godot 4.3 right now. It has a lot of features I really like for working in VR. One of the main reasons I'm working on it. And honestly, I wanted to try. I'm doing something new. I'm doing Godot, so I am using Godot script. And I'm not going to be as efficient as I normally is. I'm working on my game because I have it. Normally, I'm splitting my screen so I can see Twitch stuff, and so you're not getting my ultra wide, which is unreadable for you guys. But really exciting. So I'm working on this cooking game, and it's really fun. It was my kids' idea. They wanted one that works the way they wanted it, and so they had me building a game custom for them, and I was like, sounds good. And I wanted to do this as a multiplayer game. I hate how a lot of VR things or a lot of things currently are just, if you're doing VR, it's only multiplayer for the people in VR. Or if you have people come over and they want to try VR, you can't play it with them unless you have multiple headsets sitting around, which most people don't. And even so, it's clunky. And so the goal of this game is to allow you to play with people inside VR as well as people outside VR. So more than one person can spawn in this little kitchen area in VR. So you can, I don't have a limit yet because I'm still testing and I haven't set anything on there, but we've had up to 4 people in this little cooking area, which is really, really crowded. So I recently started on a cooking area. I started on a double cooking area. So I might switch to this being the default soon, and we're just gonna have an extra wide asymmetrical, so that way regardless of which side you want to work on, you have the big giant cooking area. And it makes it to where, yeah, I still think we may allow 2 to 4 people spawn in here, just because multiple people in VR, it's chaos, but it's really fun chaos. But yeah, haven't tried the double cooking area. I just built that right before I started streaming, and I haven't even added it to the scene yet. All right, so that's the basic premise. And if you're not in VR, right now I still can allow multiple people to join who are not in VR, but you will be the waiter. So your job is to get drinks and deliver food to our customers coming in. What I want to work on today, though, isn't a lot of this 3D stuff. I want to work on my menu system, which is, there's a couple different things that I need to work on in my menu. One, I have a branch where I've added a bunch of hats. There's like 90 hats. And I want to allow you to choose what hats you wear, as well as the waiter. If you're playing by yourself, there's an NPC waiter, just to make it easier. And it was really needed for testing. So really needed that. So we're going to jump in. We're going to work on some menu stuff, I think, today, as well as maybe doing the customized screens. You can pick things. I might run it really quick just to show you guys what it looks like. So it's not, give you a little bit more context. And I'm going to try my hardest not to punch the mic. Oh, I have collisions on. Let me turn off collisions, because that visible collisions, because that just adds a bunch of noise. All right. And I'm going to unplug myself. I don't need to charge it the whole time. All right. So to do this, for my VR setup, I was having a lot of issues getting things working right. And so Oculus has their own built-in MetaQuest link. Works okay. It's freaking out. I don't know if you can see it freaking out on me. I stopped using it because it didn't work very well for me. So one of the things that I've switched to using is virtual desktop. Oh, there it goes. It's working great now. Virtual desktop recovers when things break. Steam Link is also great, but it freaks out as well all the time on me. And so I'll do, actually, let's do, let me press play. And then the window will pop up so you can see what I'm seeing in VR. And so, like I said, I'm using virtual desktop with Steam. So, in VR, in the nice little restaurant, one of the things that I did have is when you're in the menu, you can grab the desk and reconfigure it. And then 2 hands lets you scale the world. So that way you can get it right. Music's a bit loud, turn that down. And now I can just say, perfect. I'm just going to host and ready. We're going to work on making the menu so it allows for like single player better and things like that, because that's not allowed right now. Since we have no one else, there's our NPC waiter. Really nice. Physics do fun things at times. You got to cook all your stuff. I recently did add breaking stuff, which is really, really satisfying. Oh, you're going to burn the burgers. This is hard to do spinning around. So yeah, need a number 3, which is that, with cheese, ketchup, burger, done. So pretty straightforward. The menu, every level it gets harder. I have not done a proper level system yet. Every level you just get one more menu. And I want to allow fully customizing the menu so everyone can make their own favorite. So that way you're not stuck with my presets. But yeah, we'll do one more. Okay. Number 4 is, oh, I did that wrong. Number 4 has lettuce. So bun, lettuce, burger, cheese. Oh, I still have ketchup. Throw that, give that. And the burgers go bad if you cook them and they sit too long. But that's just satisfying. All right, there we go. So yeah, it's working. Yay. Hey, Eric. Yeah, I miss working on Comet too. I have been off doing things for a while, and like I said, for the past month, couple months, I've just been doing. It's about a month and a half. I've been like, I am a game dev, so everything you see here is about a month and a half, not full time working because I have kids and I've helped my wife with her store and things like that. So, but yeah, maybe a month, 3 weeks full time work to get it to this point. So it's been pretty fun. But yeah, as you can see, that menu is really ugly. It'd be awesome if Comet worked in this. I've thought about making a UI framework for Godot because as we start working on UI, you'll see why. All right, so it has some pretty cool layouts, which are nice and all, but I'm not a huge fan of all of them. So right now, if I just do, I love this search in here that just filters everything down. It is so nice for finding files. Every time I go over to Godot, go over to VS Code, I'm like, oh, I can't filter my files like that, which is pretty annoying. All right, so I think it's actually not, it's in the interface file. I don't touch this one very often. I was saying if you're playing the waiter, you can play it on your phone. I have a web version that I'm waiting for a patch to go into Godot Jolt, so that way I can change the physics for the web to that, and then I'll start using that. But it is coming together nicely. Not the VR menu. Should have remembered where I was putting this. All right, here it is, interface. All right, so we'll go to 2D. This is the menu stuff, which has been fun, which is pretty cool. Right now, I'm doing it all based off these panels that I hide and show. Pretty straightforward. The main menu is main. I've learned some new techniques since I started on this, so we'll use some of the newer techniques I know. But this has some really basic stuff built in. In this case, we have this. This is a box container. So it's a horizontal stack that does that. And then I just add the items into it with some manual padding, which works pretty well. As I started on, and it's not on this branch, as I started on the hat stuff, that stuff got pretty complicated to allow like a grid to let you pick on things and choose things out. And I have a just piece of code in here that just deals with signals. So this actually sends signals out based on what's clicked. And so I listen to those signals, events for the C# people, same thing. And it tells what's going on and how the stuff works. But aside from that, I say go to this state, you hide and show panels. Pretty simple. And this is using the direct set to it. Like I said, we're going to change a few things around because I found some way better ways for dealing with things. Okay. So I want to change this. Manual doesn't make sense, right? This is actually, we're going to change the text. There's a couple things I want to do. I want to make sure we want to add like a button here to get ready for the hat stuff so we can go to customize. Probably going to add a settings. And then in here, the manual, this isn't manual, this is really local network. So if you're doing a local, no internet, local works. It does it by IPs. It does have all the fancy stuff built into where I will scan and you do UDP broadcasting to look for other clients to make it a lot easier to pair them. But it seems to work quite well. And I don't think potentially if you opened up ports, you could get that to work over the web if you're using the web client, but really it's meant for the local stuff. Like I said, I have an iOS, Android, Mac, Windows, Linux client that doesn't do the VR stuff, but lets you play the waiter. So you can play from all those platforms. Like I said, I do have a web version that doesn't work very well. Here, I'm just gonna show it because it's fun. I love how I can just like target all these different things. So let's do run in browser. And I really did not do work to make this work. I do need to, like I said, the Godot Jolt. I'm using Jolt for the physics because Godot physics do not work well at all. You'll see the moment we start this, the burgers just like wiggle and flop and nothing. It's like, why are you freaking out? I couldn't get any of my stuff to actually work. All right, bring this over. There it goes. And you can actually just do like host and join, even though you can't actually make burgers unless you're in VR. So that's some stuff I need to work on fixing. And it's a little slow. Maybe it can't host. Maybe it can only join. I haven't tried it with hosting. Oh no, it's going. It's going. Yeah. But you'll see like, it's a little slow. What is that burger doing? That's the physics. So the moment, wow, and this is really, really laggy in the web stuff. Wow. Okay, so maybe I won't release the web client because it's not laggy like this. Even on an iPhone, it's smooth, or Android devices. So we're going to kill that for now. I actually think that being super laggy actually killed my restreaming or my live stream. I'm pretty sure my live stream freaked out while that was happening. Yeah, just it's a lot. All right, so forget that. Where the web stuff is just cool how it just works. I really like being able to try out the different platforms without having to do anything fancy or different. To do Vision Pro, a lot of work. I've tried and I have not got any of my stuff to work on Vision Pro. There's an open source fork that lets you do stuff all based off Swift Godot, which is Miguel's stuff, but not there yet. Not there yet. All right, so let's go for this. So I want to call that local. I'm going to make this more dynamic. So right now, and I like how I can just hide it and show things and they just pop up. So if you're on the client, you should not have the host button, right? I'm going to reserve hosting for hosting just for what's it called, for the VR headsets. So the VR headsets will be able to host. We're going to go through, and so I won't even have to just even go to have this connect button. We'll still be able to be connect or local, and I'm probably just going to change this up. So if you're local, so this is for the VR one, so we may even rename that. What we'll do is let's duplicate this. So duplicate menu 2. We'll call this client menu. And then we'll have to add some logic in to switch between the two. So on this, well, they'll need a username. They will not need this host button. And actually, let's hide the other one now that we're doing that. And we'll go into the connect. I'll leave connect. And I wonder if we're going to leave local here. But if we're doing that, the connect screen has this stuff, right? Really, that's what I want. That's the one I should have duplicated, right? Let's kill this really quick. Let's duplicate this one, and this will be, so client screen, or client menu. So the client menu will have username, server code, connect, and instead of cancel, here's where we'll change that to be local button. And I wonder what to even name that, if like local makes even sense. It's hard to do this because I always think of it from a tech background. Of course, oh, local networking, we know what that is. This is going to already have an event set up saying go to menu, so I'm going to delete that. Oop, not that. I'm going to click onto here and I'm going to disconnect. I thought I pressed delete. That's weird. So disconnected that. So now I'll reconnect it. I have not had good luck with Godot 4.3. If I have it automatically create this create, I'm going to try it on local button pressed. It does not work for me ever. And it didn't. It did not actually create that. So it's supposed to create the function file for me, but it didn't, and it just never does. So we'll come down here, func on local pressed, done. All right, and for now, I'm just going to comment these out. GitHub Copilot's decent, but it makes a lot of mistakes. Most of the training that I think that it's done is on Godot 3, not Godot 4, and there's a lot of API changes between 3 and 4. Now, to those of you who are new to Godot, some cool things that I like about Godot, you can now reference any of those things directly from here. And this is something that I originally was playing with, which was really, really sweet and was really nice. So now that I have like go to menu, go to main menu where I go through and I hide everything else, here I could now, I can say if I have a global game manager and dot is, I can't remember where I put the isXR. I have an isXR property, not isServer, but I have an isXR. That's from the multiplayer stuff. And this is where I wish I had that filter right here in VS Code because there's so much code here. It's really nice playing with that. All right, so inside here I have my game manager. A lot of times will just be like, you know what? I'm just gonna go here. and then open it into VS Code that way because it's so much easier. So I thought I had a check. Oh, it's not in the game manager. It's in my global. I have a global. I have a couple different globals. So globals are different in this. If you're used to C#, you can't just make something static. So globals dot is, come on. But the globals deals with all of my player stuff. So it also deals with like keeping track if it's VR or not. And so I thought I had in here, yeah, is XR. Perfect. So go back to there, globals dot is XR. And I can say if is XR, menu show, else. We'll say, and it may pick that up. Client menu, it did not. One of the things that's really cool is I can just go into Godot here, and this will show me the current file this is tied to, and it's my client connect screen, so, or client menu, so I can just click copy node path, and now I can say node show. Now I also want to make sure that everywhere else I'm hiding the menu, which is as we navigate around, you'll see show loading. We'll do dot hide. And the Godot script is very much a scripting language. So it's all based off of indentation. So you can't mix and match tabs and spaces. I changed my settings in VS Code to automatically reformat everything every time I save. So every time I save, it'll fix all that. So that way, if I do have tabs versus spaces, it fixes itself, which is needed. Let me just copy this around. But you'll notice that's why as I'm copying and pasting, things get a little off. And I think I had one more of those. I think that's all I had to worry about. Perfect, perfect. All right. Now I didn't do the on the local, go to local menu, but we can go to that. That would be manual. So I should have something where I say show manual or manual dot. Okay, manual dot show. So on manual button pressed. So I can actually, instead of what I was doing before, and I also want to do menu dot hide. Make sure I missed one there. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to tie that in there, which will be easier. So I'm just going to go delete the old function I added. And this is how I use Godot for this. I never go in here and have it, come on, local button. Node, like I said, I don't have it create my own because it has not worked for me in a very long time. But I can go to connect. I can click on this file since that's the one that's tied to source, and I can choose pick now. And now I can even type in here, on manual button pressed. Now it auto tied it to that for me, which is nice. So this one, I can go into here and I'm going to turn VR off. And now that I'm not in XR, if I click into this, I should now click local and it takes me in. Perfect. Yeah. So I can do local host connect. Need to make sure I make that host dynamic off that. So there's a little bit of work that I still need to do on that. But yeah, perfect. All right. So let's go to that code and let's just fix that really quick. So, and I didn't have to stop. Godot does have built-in like hot reload. So if I didn't stop that, it would have worked. I still stop start all the time because with states, things get a little screwy. But now manual, on manual button pressed here, where I hide that. I can also do manual / and you'll see how as I was typing that, it will automatically go through and find all that. So I can say host button. I can say if not, I like using this a lot just because it's clear from it, even though you still can do exclamation point. But I can say globals.is xr. So if not is global xr dot hide. So now if I run that one more time, we should be able to test that. And if you're not in VR, you can't host. And that did not work. Did I get a debugger error? No, I did not. All right, so a couple things that I've done with my setup is I've told it to always keep the debug server open. The reason is I can now put breakpoints in here And I can debug. I've got the non-VR version up. I have two different launch configurations, one for VR, one for not VR. And this will connect directly in. And now if I do local, hit a breakpoint, let's go over to code, and I can actually step through this. Host button. Oh, it's not manual. That is not found. I didn't think that's what the path was. I think that, so manual, host button. Let's just copy that node path. A lot of times, no, it says that. Okay, so it's under manual. This one. Why is there two of those in there? Okay. What in the world? For some reason, there are two. I have no idea why that's duplicated like that. It's duplicated. We're going to delete one of those because that's weird. Now it'll work. I'm going to remove those breakpoints. Dun, 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 dun. That was super weird. Now it should not have done that, but null instance, it's complaining that it doesn't like that. So let's go host button, copy node path. I don't know what it's complaining about. Oops, I did not mean to connect. Let's run that again. All right, now is it breakpointing because I have a breakpoint in there? It thinks I do. Okay, there we go. It is working now. So now we don't have that host. We can cancel the go back. That's interesting. I have a username there, but I don't have one there. Oh, it's because this is a new one. That would make sense. So on here, I have where I grab the username. So right here on manual button press where I grab that. I also need to, I set that a couple different places, right? So on show connect screen, I'll do it. And I should, that's where we get it back from there. I might not set that. Oh yeah, go to main menu. Here we go. So we now have two versions of that. So I also need to do it on the client menu. So copy node path, just to be safe. And I need a $sign in front of that. Equals username. Oh, dot text. All right, so now I should have username set. All right, menu work is always fun. Especially, we haven't actually done any new menu, but getting these layouts right, hey, that works. So now if you're joining as a client, you're just gonna get, okay, enter a code, join. Beautiful. The main reason I haven't been doing that yet is because I'm getting to the point where it's useful for it to have that. But in the past, it's been not needed because just it's easier to test having access to everything regardless of where you're at. But I think I'm getting to the point to where I can now undo that. So I like it. So now you have username, local, connect, cancel. How'd that connect? What in the world? Do I have server running still? It did not. I think that button is tied up wrong. So connect to button on hole punch connect. All right, we're gonna add some error code in there for checking, but I think it's actually hosting it anyway. So on my main, when I connect to this message and I say, oh, server code, is it a server? That's how I determine if it's server or not, is if there's a code. So I need to make sure, and these are all 4-digit codes. So if server code equals that, return, or server, I can actually just do server code dot, it's not length in this, is it? It's not equal to 4. All right, we'll just do that. So, oh, wait. This is, am I using that same button for both of them? Let me go check on this one. Nope, that's manual. This is main host button on whole. That is the same one, isn't it? I'm gonna have to add two different ones. Okay. We'll say func on host hole punch connect button pressed. It doesn't care about the code. Oh wait, so it does. So I set the data whether it's that or not. Oh no, so I have to have two different ones. I have one where I set it to hosting. Where's the other one? Okay, so I have two different ones. I already had one for that, but this was not right. Actually, this one. All right, so this host button. Oh no, it does say host. Okay, I'm good. I can leave that where it's at. I have not touched my menu in a while, so I forget where things are at. All right, so perfect. That should be fine. So I'll only check on the one. So perfect. That's bug fixed. Let's run it. At some point, I want to add some fancy animations. I do not have all my hide stuff right. Right. Where I did the big go to menu. All right. And then here we need to do dot hide. And then here I need to do dot hide. Toggling everything. Yeah, I've really, because of how complex this is, I've really thought about writing my own UI framework, including layout. Couple things that I want to do, and I plan on writing a little bit of a layout engine for this. And I can show you what I'm talking about for that. So that's looking better now. Connect to server is not going to work yet. Perfect. Local works. That's going to try and connect because it's going to look for the local host connecting to 127. It's not. If I did I run this from, another thing that's really cool is I can tell this to customize and run multiple instances. And we can say, main, we're not going to do that. I can actually give one client, one, I think I called it host. Can't remember. And then if I click go, it's now going to run two instances of it. And one should host if I did it right. If not, one will go into auto connect. Yeah, see, now hosted and connected. So some really cool auto launch features with that. And I've already just done the hosting and whatnot. So one can quit. Hey, it's working. And then it can reconnect because awesome. Notice that color is automatically generated. That's one of the things I want to do in customizing is let you pick the color. I'm going to just randomize one on your first launch. We'll save it to your user preferences. And then I'm going to make your hands and yourself be that color. But I haven't done that yet. That could be a fun thing to work on. All right. Perfect. We've got that. We've got that. Maybe we should work on some of that. All right. So right now inside this main box, I might change these a little bit. And this is some of the things that I don't like about Godot. Since everything is that absolute path, you'll see how I do everything is based off this, right? One of the things that I've learned, and it's going to be a pain because I have multiple connect buttons, so I'd need to start componentizing this thing out, which you can easily do. So at any point I'm ready, I'm going to start breaking this thing apart. I can just say make save as a branch, and then it's going to turn that into a user control so then it can have its own unique stuff. I won't then have access directly to its children unless I tell it I want access to its children, which makes it a little finicky. But this menu is getting pretty big, so eventually I'm going to have to do that. What I'm probably going to do is just put the buttons for now on the outside. So I'm going to add a child node. And in this instance, we'll do a margin container. And we're going to tell the margin container to go full. So it's full screen. And now inside of here, I'm going to add a is it an H box container? Yeah, horizontal box container. That might not be what I want anyway, because I'm going to want to put a button on the left and a button on the right. And I need to think of, I could do that with spacing, but that's not what I want to do. So I think I can just add them directly into here. So in the margin container, we can just add a button. We're just going to add 2 buttons to test this. And button, we'll add both of those. And I have not, oh, wait. Why did that? Those buttons went full screen because they're in there, which is not what I wanted. All right, so we're going to go into here, and I should be able to tell one to go to the left and tell one to go to the right. Now they're there, but they're still going the full height, which is not what I want. So we might change this to dock only to the top. Perfect. Now I can go into here and I can add some minimum heights, which is how I've been doing most of these because I haven't found a good auto layout for a lot of this type of stuff. So for this one, we're going to call this one the customize button. And let's go back to here. We can say it gave it a height now because it's bigger. And then this one we can say, and I'm going to give this a gear. I think I have some of the icons loaded from, no, I don't. I'm going to use some of Kenny's icons. Kenny NL, awesome place to get UI stuff. Very, very useful. But there we go. So right now we should have a couple buttons in there. Those are way too small. So I'm just going to theme override these puppies for now. And we can go to, am I in the right button? Okay. So theme overrides, font sizes, and we can make this thing like a 36. Better. That's going to be an icon, so it's not going to matter. So actually, let's just reset that. And one of the other ways that I override things is instead of that, I will give it a minimum size. So we'll just say we'll give it a minimum height of like 100. Better button size. And the reason I put these in a margin container is I want to be able to easily bump those things in. And now that one actually just matched because of that, we're going to go into theme overrides and we're going to say like 36 by 36. 36. Starting to look good. Once I turn those into buttons, they'll look better, but it's good enough for now. All right, so I'm going to go into here and we're going to add a func on customize. And we're just going to close that for now. What is this? Oh. Helps to type right. And then we're going to do one more. Func on settings. And we'll just pass for now. Okay, perfect. I'm going to tie those in so I don't forget because I've done that. Then you're like, why isn't this working? Right. All right, so we're going to attach to customize and then connect. And now I'm going to go back to here and we're going to rename this one to settings. Well, one of the things that I've learned, which is pretty cool. So with that, I have too many of those. But one of the things that you can do is you can always say access as unique. So then I can use percent and then its name. And if there's only one of them, then I get full control and I can go directly to that button, which is really, really useful. But for now, I'm just going to leave that there. And we'll do connect the pressed. I'm going to pick settings. Oh, wait. Okay, this is an issue. So this is a bug that drives me nuts. Since I had those breakpoints and it stopped and it opened this file, it likes to save and try and resave. So if I undo, it came back. Such a bug. And I go through and I close those and then it goes away. I have not found a way to work around that. There's some settings in the editor I've tried. It's where you can be, there's stuff on text editor behavior, on like reload on external. I've tried that. You would think that would do it, does not. It does not. So that's been driving me insane. But once I realize what's going on, I just fix it, go back, and I'll go to 2D. We can now hook up that button. And let's pick this out and do it. Settings, on settings. So now we've got buttons for both. Yay! Okay, wonder if we should work on something more fun than just a couple buttons. Because that's something I've needed to do. I'm just going to hide that for now because until I add icons, it's kind of ugly. I've cleaned up that, so now it's only client or the main menu as it needs to be, which is really, really, really useful. I want to clean up the lobby screen at some point because I don't like it. I think it's ugly, and I'm getting some weird overlapping stuff, and so I don't like that. But this is all because these controls are so difficult. Oh, wait, let me hide main menu. And yeah, these things get a little crazy. So in the lobby control, that scroll messages goes down. That looks right. It's just, yeah, I want to make sure that you don't. I'm going to change it to where only the server's in charge. They'll click ready and it'll count down and go. I don't want to make everyone else click ready. People forget to do it, and it's actually been a big issue. So I'm going to clean that up. Let's not work on menu stuff right now, though. Let's work on games. Game stuff is more fun. So with that, I actually want to, let's save this to Git. And then we're going to jump over, and yeah, that's just debug code I had in there. Dun, dun, dun. Editor. Oh, that's just me messing with those. I'll discard those changes. So here's me working on the interface. Customize and settings. The menu as well as host is now only for XR clients. Perfect commit. So I'm actually building multiple types of clients off this. I'm building the XR and the non-XR one. I'm actually moving all of the XR bits, which is kind of fun. The build system is pretty robust for what Godot can do. I wish it had defines like if-defs. They don't exist, which is really sad in Godot script. If you're using C#, of course, you still get them, but I don't. It's driving me nuts. So let's go to this hat picker, and I'm going to try merging latest in. This file will not stop regenerating UIDs. It's driving me nuts. All right, so let's merge. Let's rebase current branch on. Actually, we'll just merge it in. Branch, merge into current branch, main. I don't think that'll give us anything, but now we have my hat picker stuff I've been working on. Discard all those, and that goes along with the menu. So my vision for this hat picker thing is we're going to have on the right, we're going to have all of the different hats that you can choose from. And we're going to have in the middle, we're going to have one of the little characters there to show off the hats. And also there's a couple things that just aren't as nice yet. So now that we have this margin container, we are going to rename this. This is settings, buttons. Okay, we've got those. I also now want to add in I have hat picker. Did I not switch and stay on the hat picker branch? I'm there. I should now have hats. Hats picker. So why? Oh, right. All right, so I'm going to drag this in, which this is just another control I've been working on. And we'll launch this. And this is what I was talking about, how you can create things into controls. So it's a hat picker with a margin, button, container. Now this is using this unique access I did. So I kept relaying things out and moving things around, and it was causing lots and lots of issues. And so I put it to where my button container, now in this code, I can just say % button container. So on ready, set that up. So now I can easily just say button container dot add children and things like that. So I can add the different hat items. So what we'll do is we're going to go to main menu, and I'm just going to make this visible for right now. Oh, nope, not the settings buttons. The hat picker, we'll make it visible for right now. And we're just going to run this to see what this looks like. Should just be overlaid on top of the other menu for now. Why are my hats not working? Dun, dun, dun. Debugger, do I have issues with that? No. I have two. Let me go back to telling it not to load multiple instances. That'll be helpful. We only need one. That's going to confuse me as I'm reading the output. You will notice how it did say in the debugger how it's session 1 and session 2, which is pretty sweet that it does break those into the two different parts. But why is my hat packet picker not working? I was just working on this. It could be... That's full screen. That's full screen. Okay, scroll. Dun, dun, dun. I thought this had some... Oh, let's do like minimum. Let's just test this. Normally, if something's not working, it has something to do with that. So let's see if that pops something up now. It is. Why didn't that get bigger? So I had this set to where this grid was 4 columns. I must not have the latest stuff on here, or I had a bad merge. Oh no, not max columns. I had current columns. All right, select mode is single. We're going to go through and I want to work on some hover effects. But I thought... Okay, max columns. I had this at 4 before. Where I switched to an item, from a grid to an item. Maybe I broke something there. That is awesome. Okay, so we are going to tell it that it can grow on the right, and it can grow here. Okay, so it can expand. Let's see if that fixes it. No. No, it did not. It's still getting the same width that I had before. So with 4 of these, I think I set those to be... I hate doing manual layout like this. This is why I want to build an engine for this. Like, I should make one of these, because why not? I think I set those at 200 each, so that would make this need to be 800 wide, if I remember right. Maybe I did it at 150. There's one hat. There's one hat. There should be more than one hat. It's like 90 hats. I might grab my Mac. I was working on this on my Mac last. Oh, it's in the other room. All right, we're going to stop this, and we are going to debug this, because why not? Okay, so I did switch this to an item. I thought the item was the one that I wanted. Let's go look at the code to this. All right. So now that I changed that, I wonder if I need to do dot items. I think I changed. It is an item list. So the button container is an item list. And maybe... Is it add item? Or just add? Nope. Maybe I don't want this. Maybe I switched to the wrong... All right. I love the documentation in here. So I do like how I can just go to declaration. And it's going to show me everything about it, which is awesome. All right. No text and an icon. So mine are fancy. I think I messed up when I switched it to an item list. I think that's what happened. So we're going to go undo all that. And we're going to switch this. Oops. Back to a grid container, and I need to do that here too, so I can just say change type, and I'll say grid container, and I bet that will now fix all of my issues. We're better. We're 1 column still, but hey, things are working. All right, I like it. Let's check these properties on this. It's column set to that. We'll set it to 4. Now I don't think I need those minimums now. I think it will auto do it for me. Yay, it's working. Okay, that's what I wanted. So what I'm going to do is right now they all spin no matter what, The white ones are the unlocked ones. I'm probably going to add a locked thing to it. But what we're going to need to do is do some sort of a hover event on those. So if we go to those buttons, let's go to customization. I can go to inside of here. I have these 3D menu item things. These are the actual hat picker things. So I bet there is a node for mouse entered and mouse exited. Perfect. So what we'll do is, again, like I said, it creating things for me never works. Func on mouse enter. Perfect. And it was actually smart enough to know exactly what I wanted. So I want to disable should spin. I was going to, I think I have it set in the hat picker to set to true. I'm going to disable that. All right, so now if I go into here, so you can do it through this UI. You can also do it via code. Inside of Ready, I can just tie into those events, but it's nice doing it here. So pick on mouse entered, connect, go back to here, connect, pick, mouse exit, connect. All right, so now if we run this, oh, it's not getting the event. Dun, 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 dun. What did it do wrong? Or maybe it is, and I'm failing here. So with video games, it's a lot easier to print than it is to actually do breakpoints because most of the data is not useful, and there's so many instances of it that getting the right instance is really hard. We'll restart it just in case. I really thought that was the right event. These are buttons. Oh, okay. I did it on the wrong thing. Okay, layering, right? So I have these panels. So I have this disable panel that pops up so it makes it to where the button actually doesn't work. I do disable the button, but I did it to the background panel. The background panel is never going to get that event because there's a button on top that hides those. And since it doesn't pass its things through, that's the problem. All right, so let's pick on mouse enter, connect. That really messed with me when I first started doing this. I was like, why am I not getting events? All right, so let's pick on exit, connect, and let's run this now. Now, something really cool about these buttons, this was something really fun to do, and I don't know if it's the most efficient. I'm still not getting those. I'm getting the events. Animation. Oh, I didn't call it hover. Spin. Using Copilot's great, but yeah, it just guesses on things. So it only does it to the enabled ones. We should change that because they should all spin, right? Why not? And we can now delete all these, and we will test to see if hot reload's going to just do it. No, it did not. Like I said, it does sometimes for me. Works fine. All right, so reload that. And I think that's going to be working better. Hey, they spin. No, we can only select that one. So what I need to do is I need to put a preview area here to where we can preview and see what the character. So then as we select the hat, it will set the value and move it over. So that's going to be a little tricky, but I think I can do it just fine. So what I do have to do these, this is actually fun. There's some cool things that you can do in Godot to make this thing work, because you'll notice I'm showing 3D in 2D, which is great when I'm in the flat mode, and it's not when you're in 3D. So when I'm looking at that in 3D, here, I'll just show you the difference. Why not? Let's pop in and show that. So now when I load this, did I close? Oh, it just disconnected. through all reconnecting. There it is. So you can see those are 2D. They're still 2D, which is kind of lame because it's an actual 3D object that I'm spinning, but they're 2D here and I'm in 3D. But you'll look at the menu I have here, those are 3D. And that's because I manually build those off 3D objects, and I like that. Honestly, I plan on switching this, right? For the menu, I'm probably going to switch them to be 2D like that because it makes sense for a wall menu. It was fun and easy to build for the 3D stuff, but I want this to be 3D in 3D. And it's really an issue for me. Hey, it's working as I point my hand around. That is nice. I may leave it, but that's something I think I want to fix. Now to do that, I'm going to have to do some fancy global transform stuff. So maybe that's something we should work on. Because, yeah, it's cool, but it's not cool. All right, maybe. What I'm going to have to do that, well, I don't even know how that's going to work when it starts scrolling. When it starts scrolling, yeah, I might not do it because if it wasn't scrollable, for the menu, I know exactly how to do it. For this, I have no clue. So what my plan and what I thought I was going to do was I was going to do the 2D thing because this is just a 2D plane inside of a 3D object. And so I can actually say, hey, where is this in 3D space? So I can ask the global position of this entire rectangle and then get its size. Right? I can ask what the size is. And then from there, what I can do is each of these elements, I can ask its size inside of the box. And then do some little fancy transform to move the 3D object, to be in that position in 3D space so it overlays it just like I do over there. Because that's all I'm doing there is I'm doing that on that side. Not using the fancy layouts, I wrote my own, which made it harder, but yeah. All right. I don't know if I have that in me today because I don't. It's once things leave the screen, how do I handle it? I have no clue. What in the world? That's not bacon. All right. So what I do with that is it's really cool how inside of Godot, what I'm doing, and I don't mind showing this off because this was a pain to get right and it really was hard. It wasn't that hard once I realized what was going on. And let's go back to, was under menu, customize. All right. So to make this thing work, there's a 3D and a 2D element here. So the 3D element is there's a sub viewport that has a model. And I don't know why that's showing bacon. Because that is not bacon. And it says it's not bacon. There's something really... I have no idea why it's doing that. There's something really weird going on with Godot. I might need to restart. Every once in a while, you see weird things like this, and you're like, I'm just going to restart. All right. So what I've done, though, is I have a sub viewport, and it's showing the right thing there. It's showing the beer hat. All right. So I have a sub viewport, and then you can add models directly inside of it. When I first did this, and then what you do is you'd add a texture or a texture button, because I want it to be a button in this case, and I tell it that its texture is a sub viewport texture, and I point it to this sub viewport. Now, whatever this 3D model shows, I did make sure I make it transparent. The key was when I first did it, it put every single hat in the textures for every single button. I had to tell them they're all their own world, so that way they don't share the same space, which was a pain, and I couldn't figure that out for a while. And I was like, why do all my buttons here? I'll show you how bad this looks. That fixed it. So silly. So now if I run this, it's like, what is that? Only the right hat spinning though. That's awesome. I had them all spinning when I first did it. And I was like, what is going on? All right, but yes, checking that box. Hey, see, hot reload. It worked that time. You can see how it instantly fixed them. All right, so let's work on getting a 3D object now in this 2D space. So I might just go the same exact way we've been going, right? Sub viewport, with a 3D model, and we'll put the little guy there. And it's cool because these are actual 3D objects, but they don't look it. I mean, they do, but they don't. As you can see, they are bound inside their little texture, which is pretty cool. So you can do some really cool things with this. Yeah, and this is using the animation player, because the animation player is really great for making spinning things, or just any of the animations. It's so little code to do that. Oops, no, I was closing you. I didn't want notifications. All right, so let's jump in and let's go to that. Let's close this. Again, I have no idea why it's showing bacon in hands. Super weird. All of mine are. Look, it's everywhere. It's taken over. It's in every single viewport. Does this one have one hidden somewhere? Wouldn't surprise me. All right, so I'm just closing out of all these, and then we're gonna just open up the hat picker. All right, hat picker. Perfect. All right, so margin, scroll, stuck to the side. What we're going to do is we will add, the reason I was doing these with margins was I wanted to be able to nest these and say, okay, this one has a margin just for simple layout to put things in between. So we're going to add another one, another margin container, and I'm going to arrange them because this one is going to be the preview. And what we'll do is inside the preview, we're going to do that same type of thing like we did looking at the 3D menu item, where we're going to add a texture, and then we're going to add a sub viewport and all this. I'm going to copy this one because I have it set up pretty well just to make my life easier. I'm going to paste it here. Okay, we're going to delete that, and I'm just going to add my I'm going to add an NPC. We're just going to see what happens, right? I don't think it will do anything, but I have no idea. We're in uncharted territory here. Why is it not showing my NPC? All right, so if I go to camera and I preview, that could be an issue. What we can do is we can actually just open the NPC, and we're just going to take the character shape with his, oh no, it's the mesh. It's just the mesh stuff I need, right? I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to just paste it into the model. Why can I not see this? It could be the camera is too far zoomed in. So let's play with the transform. Let's zoom it way out. Or my Godot is just being really weird and I just need to restart. Because it's not showing the object. All right, we're restarting Godot. Restart. Excuse me. I don't have music on. All right, so we've got that. This is why. Okay, it's showing it to me there. Before when I did this, I had the camera preview and I used that to recenter everything. I wonder if I did some weird setting. Well, let's go look at Git. I'm not seeing anything weird. Yeah, it's throwing my googly eyes in there. The capsule mesh. This is going to be a painful way to adjust that camera. That's nightmarish. I don't know. I've never seen this happen. All right, so here's what we're going to do. No. Why is it working out here? That's super. What? Hold on. I was in 3D, right? Not 2D. I don't know. We're going to do it all here. And then we're going to copy and paste it all back. All right, camera preview. Now I can just go into here and be like, oh, let's move this camera around. And we're going to zoom it out, up. I love the reflections, how it does the reflection eyes, because they're googly eyes and they actually have the pop out. Little details no one else is going to notice, but it mattered to me. All right, so I'm going to drop him down a little bit. Done, done, done. And we're going to go with that. All right, so now let's go back. Paste. And now let's go. We know that's not working. All right, he looks terrible, but hey, that works. All right, we're going to make this viewport bigger, though, because we have a lot more space. We're going to do it like 300 by like 800. And I may have to tweak it a little bit to make that work. All right, so now if we go to the 2D view, we have this preview here. And we're going to add a sprite or texture, doesn't matter what we add. Sprite 2D. And we are going to say this is a camera texture. I think that's the right one. And then I point the sub viewport from there. No, it's not camera. I thought there was a viewport. Oh, viewport right at the top. And I say it's this one. Hey, look at that. There's my little guy. Except I don't like sprites. This is why. Centering. If I do the same thing with a texture rect, it's going to center the same way as all the other controls. So let's do that again. I should have copied that, so then I just had to paste it. There he goes. Keep size. Ignore size. I thought, oh, stretch. All right, there we go. Looking good. All right, so what we're going to do is we are going to, that scroll view, if I run this, it's going to give me actual widths, so that way I can set this thing out a little bit better. That's looking good. All right, so if I go to remote here, this will show me what's actually running, which is really, really, really helpful. Oh, hey, Eric, sorry, I just noticed your question. So saying this is very different from your day job, why am I using Godot compared to other engines? I've used lots of different things. I used Unity really heavily, and I built a lot of games and a lot of prototypes in Unity. I built a lot of prototypes in Unreal. They all have their strengths, and they all have their weaknesses. Honestly, when all this stuff went down with Unity and they had that giant fallout where they messed up all of the licensing nonsense, and then when Vision Pro came out and they're like, I'm not a professional developer. I think the most I've ever made off my games is like $2 to $3 total. Like, that's it, off ads. So I don't make much money off this stuff. I do it because I enjoy it. I'm hoping I can change that. If I can figure out how to make money off games, I may do that instead of a traditional job for a while. And so I'm really focusing on this. But I'm just trying to break in. Unity changed it to where if you want to touch the Apple Vision Pro, if you want to even look at the APIs, you have to pay them. It was a couple $100 a month, if I remember right. It was, you had to have a high level subscription. I'm like, really? Just to look at the APIs? I get, if I'm publishing to the Vision Pro, sure, charge me. But you can't even look at the crap without it. And that was like the straw that broke the camel's back. So I stopped dealing everything with Unity. I still use their asset store, and I buy things from the asset store, and I convert it over to Godot, which is great. And that just really, it was hard. Like, yeah, that was a hard pill for me to swallow. I like Unreal a lot. I wish Unreal had an actual scripting language rather than just C++ and blueprints. They've promised that whole I can't remember what it's called, the thing that only works in Fortnite though. And I'm like, really? You're gonna give us a cool scripting language and only let it work in Fortnite? And so I don't know. Scripting versus C++ is great. It's just a lot nicer. So you can see the things we can do. It's just like the reloading, the fact that you can, yeah, it's just nicer. It's a higher level language. It's a lot easier to work with. And so I'm pretty productive with that compared to when you're working with a lower level language. Productivity is a lot harder and it's a lot slower, at least for me. And so I'm not productive in C++. Using things like Copilot make it bearable. But if I have an option to use something else, I'm going to. And Godot's open source and it's free and it's awesome. And like I said, I'm not even making money with this stuff. So it's really hard for me to justify spending as much as Unity wants me to spend to touch the platforms I want to touch. So that's really what it comes down to. It's just such a turnoff for me. And so Godot's fun. I highly recommend trying it out. Like you said, you can use C# in it. I just wanted to try Godot in its purest form. And I kind of like Godot script. It's not bad. I was a little worried I wouldn't like it, but now that I've been playing with it, I like it. It's got lots of rough edges, but honestly, I had lots of rough edges in Unity and I had lots of rough edges in Unreal. So yeah. All right. So now that I'm running, what I'm doing is I'm actually inspecting remote is going to inspect this game's window. So I can go through and I can actually look at interface, and I think I haven't tried doing this, but I'm pretty sure I can now look at the hat stuff and I can actually get sizes. I can get sizes. So the button container is 812 by, wow, that's huge. So, but now that I have those, I can now use those dimensions and we can start maybe locking some of the stuff down. Instead of letting stuff auto size, we'll start actually sizing it. And I can now do margins to push this thing over. And I also think what we can do on this hat picker, I don't think the hat picker has any, oh, we don't need this window. We're going to close that one. Don't save. All right, so the hat picker, I don't think has a signal for the hat. Oh, it does. Hat selected. Okay. So what's cool is now that I added, so all I had to do to make this hat picker thing work, I went up and I added a signal, hat selected, and you can even specify hat ID as a string. So whenever I select on one of these, it's going to emit that signal. So what I can do here is now in, not my 3D menu item, I need to go to that custom, where was that? Dun, 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 dun. All right, menu, customization. All right, so now inside of sub viewport with model, which one was that? I don't remember making that. Interesting. Oh no, it was part of hat picker. I apologize, I was in the right place. So part of hat picker, I don't need to use the signal because what I can do is I can now go to this guy, and the way hats work anyway, if we look at NPC, whenever hat is given a hat, it clears out all existing hats, and then it goes and grabs a hat that matches it, instantiates it, and sets the hat. So I'm going to grab that function, and we're going to bring that over to hat picker. All right. Now this is not going to work right because hat location doesn't make sense. And so there is no hat location. Now if what hat location is, if we go to Godot, we have our hat picker, copy node path. I can just do at on ready. Now the cool thing, I really like this in Godot. If I say at on ready, I can specify, and this is a node 3D, it's going to automatically set this value for me, right? So it just sets it up on ready. Now I have hat location. Beautiful. Now, if hat ID, so, oh no, sorry, I always do that wrong, hat ID string. So, and I don't need to do the hat set because that's not as needed anymore. So now, selected hat, we will also just do hat ID. So now, if I run this, the layout's wrong. We know the layout's wrong. But now if I select a hat, it's working. Because these ones are disabled, they're not unlocked yet. I need to move this guy over, but hey. And I need to give us a way to spin him because he should spin. Maybe we'll just use the same animation player and just spin it because that's pretty cool. But yay, it's working. All right. Let's slide him over. Let's add a color picker and see if we can change his color as well. To do that, we're going to have to start dealing things with, we're going to have to deal with materials, which is fine. No problem doing that. But yeah, I like it. That's cool. And we need to add a thing up here to allow random, should be first. So you can always get a random hat. I love random because I don't like picking things. And then we also need to allow you to filter between things we own and things we don't own. So we'll get to that. That is so cool though. All right, perfect. Let's move this puppy. Let's move this guy over. All right, so this is why I put things into the margins, because now with this being in a margin, we can do left not this one, theme overrides. We can tell him to go towards the, I could just center him actually. That might not overlap. That might be good. All right, and then we're also going to make this guy a little wider. All right, we're probably going to need to move the camera over a little bit for that. That's this one. All right, let's just run it and see how it looks. I can deal with that for now. Well, let's see how it works when we add a color picker. I might add some more spacing in there. It needs to be wider because the hat's getting cut off. So let's do 500. Now the hat's not being cut off. I love how just typing things. And let's remove the disabled thing. I want to click on all the hats. See how they all work. So we're going to go back to this code and enabled equals true. And put a comment in there. Wait, are these ones not clickable? Why is the mouse exiting at the top? Oh, it's this settings bar. Okay, so that settings was in... All right, so a couple of things we want to do with this interface, right? So we have this settings button, right? This right here, since it's inside this panel type, what we want to do is we can go into input, not input. Mouse is on pass for that. Well, why is it not doing that? Let me just hide that. Let's get it out of the way. Let's try it again. There might be something else popped up. No, that was it, because it's working now. Oh, the sombrero is too big. Yeah, we need a way to spin him. Let's just tell him to spin really quick. Let's do an animation player just because why not? All right, and we'll reset the animation player every time you switch a new hat. So that just sounds like fun. Hat picker. Actually, let's look at this. Do I have... I did not bring over the animation player. If I bring this over, it might work. All right, so animation spin. I think it is. We're just going to press play. Beautiful. All right, so the animation player, you set keyframes in, and right now I have these keyframes set for the model and for its rotation. So all that's doing is it's setting it at like 0. That's actually using the Euler, so it's 90. So 90, 180, minus 90, 0. So that way it just spins it perfectly. And we will tell this to autoplay, which is, I'm trying to remember how to do that. I think that's a setting here. Active, playback options. I thought there was a play. I don't know. Maybe I have it on autoplay. We'll see. We'll see. Nope. All right, so what we'll do is inside a hat picker, this is where we can give this guy, instead of animation player, we're going to rename this to NPC animation player. so I can give it a unique access node. Now inside of here, I can do the onReady just to make it easier. OnReady var NPC animation player. So since this is a scripting language, I don't have to qualify what these things are. Everything just does what it is. But I'm going to anyway. So NPC animation player. Except I named it. Oh, I didn't save that. So since no, wrong key, delete. Save. Now this will update. I don't need the whole node path. I just need, yay. Oh, it already knew since I had qualified to do that. Perfect. So now I can just go to NPC animation and I can say on ready, play, spin. And I can also reset whenever hat's selected. I think telling it to play will reset it. We'll find out. If not, I'll just have to call reset, then do it. I think that'll work. Nope. Not that it matters. All right, we are going to make that thing even wider because that is not wide enough. Let's go into viewport. And are you wide enough yet? Holy cow, you are not wide enough. Getting there. That actually might be wide enough though. These hats are ridiculous. You'll notice what's cool. Those are googly eyes. Since the animation is spinning it, you'll notice the eyes are actually stuck to the right. That was really fun to code. So it's really only cool in VR. That's where it's really cool, where it like bounces around. But the code for that is actually still running even here. Dun, dun, dun. Some of these hats are just utterly ridiculous. All right, so we're gonna move him down even more because I want to see the height of these awesome ones. We're just gonna move this up. And again, I'm having issues seeing stuff, so we're just going to test that. I have no idea why. That was way too much. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do this. And then, no, hat picker, camera. So I wonder if we just need to make this taller too. So let's do like 1200. That's too big. Too big. That's actually pretty dang good. It's zoomed in a little bit more than we need to be, but I think we can actually he's going behind, but that's fine. We'll deal with that with layout. But I think that's actually good. That hat I wasn't going to include. It was just too ridiculous. This, I did actually do the code to make that spin. So if he wasn't spinning, it would still spin, which is pretty sweet. I don't know why. You can see it spinning there. Because of course it should spin. And I need to do that to the crank. There's this thing. That needs to auto spin. That's on my to-do list. All right, either way, got that going. We need to now make sure the enabling and disabling works. These hats are ridiculous. I love it. All right, I'm happy. Hat picker is working. Let's add the customize. Let's add some color stuff. All right, so we're going to save that. We are now going to add margin container. Let's add another one because I just keep going. And this guy is going to go to the left. And we will allow expanding. Oh, we don't need to. Okay, so... And we're probably going to need to do some sort of a horizontal stack. I don't know. I don't even know what this control looks like. I've never used this color picker button. And why there's one under the V box and there's one here, I have no idea. Okay, let's give it a minimum size and let's see what this thing looks like. Layout. Okay, just black. What happens when we click on it? Nothing. Now, it could be because the preview is bigger than it. No, there's nothing over it. Oh, this one is, though. All right. Let's try that. Now, that is going to mess with this guy's hats are now going to overlap, which is fine. That's it. Okay, so color picker works. All right, so we're now going to make this one to the right. Those still overlap now, but either way, that should be fine. And now if we move margin down, he'll be behind that. We need to move him over a little bit. All right, so now all these buttons work. Colors work. Yeah, I like it. We'll let you pick any color you want because why not? Perfect. All right, so what we're going to do, I need to do a couple things. So we have the color picker button. We're going to make this a unique one again so we can access it easily because I'm going to set the default to whatever the default color is that we already set up. However, I don't cache that, so we're going to need to change some things in that. So right now, where I save everything is I have this user preferences, which deals with everything. So what we're going to do is we're going to add in var color, and then we will do export color. Now, right now, that looks good, perfect. So now we can grab user preferences, and so hat picker can now on setup do % color picker button. I'm not going to do the connect, and that's using the old style. Like I said, it's trained on 3 whatever. Actually, let's just do it up here. So then we can type it. Var color picker. Perfect. So now I can do color picker picker.color equals. We don't have a game manager to color, do we? That's in the menu. That's for the drink color. That's so weird. That's not what we want. We want game manager. I think game manager has user preferences on it. Already set up user prefs.color. All right, so now we'll set that color. The one thing I'm going to do is I have somewhere in here, it's under the menu. It's under interface. I know it's under interface. I have set up whenever someone joins, we give them a random color. We are going to change that code. It is useful for me. No, I actually do that in main, don't I? In somewhere in here. I think I do it in here. On player connected. Go to definition. Color. I thought I did it there. If not, I do it in global. Too many places to look for things. Too much going on. Yes, see? User color. Gets a random color each time. So what we will do, it's really useful when I'm doing multiple things on the same machine because these are going to use the same user pref, but it is what it is. All right, so we are going to kill that, and that's going to break a lot of things. Actually, let's find the name of it, and we'll replace all instances first. I thought I was just undoing. Why is that not? There it goes. I'm going to first take this and go set it inside user preferences. So if we don't have any color, we'll create a random color because that's fun. And now let's everywhere this is used elsewhere. Find all references. I know that's used somewhere else. There it is. Why is it gotta lie to me? All right, but I didn't do that. And well, we will do this. Now goes user prefs dot color. So we'll just change those around. And we're now using the new stuff. And then that color will persist between instances. All right, I like it. I think that's the only place it's found. Let's hope. All right, so let's go back to here, to our hat picker. We are going to make this full screen again, and we're going to clean this up. We're not going to leave it super big because that's really weird. Can I show the game? Yes, Meezy, I will show the game in just a second. Let me finish this color picker code, and then we'll run it to test it. And then we're going to have to test it again because we need to actually do materials. So yes, we will see the game in a second, unless you already left because I was not paying attention to chat. All right, so color picker, we're going to add a color changed. That takes a color. All right, so we're gonna go, like I said, I still don't trust it creating things for me because it never works. Func on, I love when this thing works right. All right, so perfect. What we're going to need to do is we're also going to, should we deal with his material right now? I wonder if we should. So what we can do is we can grab this guy and we can grab its material. It has no material. Pfft. That's awesome. No, my other ones use a material. Maybe I don't for the NPC. Maybe I only do for the NPC waiter. I really thought he had a color. That's hilarious if I never got around to doing that. Nope. I never gave it a material. All right, we're gonna fix that. Need a material. All right, so that's fine. That's fine. Let's run it and let's see if this color is working. Because now when we get here, it should not be black. It's a random color. It's now fuchsia. Of course, it picked fuchsia. All good. All right, so let's hook that up. I want to. All right, so a couple things we're going to need to do. First, we're going to need to give this little guy a material. Super easy to do. So let's go back to hat picker. Here's his mesh. I'm going to do it. I always do it in this surface override just because. New standard material. Perfect. All right. Now, what we need to do is super easy. Typically, what I would do, let's actually go grab, we're going to call this our, rename to our NPC model. We're going to make this unique so we can access it. And our NPC model mesh instance 3D. That's not right. That is totally not right. Let's just go see what we named it again. I just thought I named it. No, I didn't save. Saving makes a big difference for this to understand what it is. All right, so we called it NPC model. All right, so now what we can do, we can go in here and on ready, we are going to save an instance of the material. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give a little bit of hint to what, what's it called, to ChatGPT, so, or not ChatGPT, Copilot, so it knows what we're doing. So we are going to change the color of the material for the NPC model. All right, so perfect, knows to grab the material. Then, boom. Isn't that great? Now we're gonna save this material. If we're doing this inside the game and it's something that we have multiple instances of, we need to duplicate that material. If not, when you change it on one, it's going to change it everywhere. Now, what I'm also going to want to do is if we're doing this in VR, I want to change the hand material. So we're going to have to do that. We're going to tie into a thing, but for now, we're just wanting to do this. So let's run this. What we'll do is we've got that. Let's see if that works. I'm going to save this material, and we'll save it as RNPC material, and we'll just do that instead. Okay. So now all we have to do is whenever this color changes, let's run it. Okay. And then if that works, we can get surface material. ChatGPT messed me, or Copilot sometimes does it wrong. All right, I thought it was mesh. Get surface. Isn't that what it did? I did save that with the material, right? So I do this, the other place I do this is how I do the drinks, right? The drinks in my game, just do that. So all of my drinks go through, and so all I'm doing is on here, I get surface material override, and I duplicate it because there's multiple instances of the drink, which is key, right? I clone as many of them as I want. So that way for this instance, it has the one. So I make a duplicate of it, then I set it, and then I can change the color. Let's just see if that's what I was doing. I thought it was. Get surface override material. There we go. All right, it should work now. It always helps to look what you were doing in previous times. In this case, it's one instance. I don't need to duplicate it because this is that bug I was complaining about where it keeps the script open and it thinks that it's not there, but it is. Then I undo and it's back. I should dig into the source code of Godot and try and fix that. Hey, why is it making a new color each time? It should not. Oh, because I never saved it. So if you never pick your color. Okay, let's see what it's going on here. Because that should change that. Because I'm changing an instance of that. Oh, did I? I know why. Anyone else know why? Anyone else know why? Never hooked up the event. Now let's try that again. So you say you know how to do this as far as all the color stuff? Hey, check that out. So now we can set our color. That is fun. All right. Should I do the hands or the VR stuff as well while we're at it? I want to clean this up. I want to put like a menu. Color picker so you know what you're doing, so it's not just that. Yeah, that is cool. I want to run that in VR. I want to see how it looks in VR. It should work the same. And then we'll tie in the hands and the head. So the hands and head change color as well. And that's when I'm going to have to instance, because if there's more than one person in VR, come on, reconnect. Normally when I'm working, I set my headset not to disconnect. Oh, come on, or not to go to sleep. I'm done. Why is that not going? I might have to quit virtual desktop, and I'm just going to quit it and resume it. Virtual desktop, then we'll do the hands. And then yeah, I like this. This is looking cool. My kids are actually going to have fun changing colors. Okay, that's connected. Now I can pop into VR and run it again. All right. That is a very extensive color picker. I like it. I'm happy with that. All right, let's make the hands work. The hands should be changing. And the hat picking's working. I like it. Okay, perfect. All right, on to the hands. All right, so since we don't have access to the hands in the hat picker right here, right? Totally fine, no big deal, expected. What we're going to do is I'm going to go over and I'm going to add a signal over to, was it globals while we're setting that color? Not globals. We are setting it in the user prefs. So I am going to go to the user prefs and we are going to add a signal there. Let's go to user prefs, which is here. And we're gonna add a signal for when that changes. I already have one for like when volume changes. So that way, regardless of where you change it inside the app, whether it's from the radio or from a actual slider, it just fixes itself, right? So signal hat changed, we're gonna do that one. And we'll do signal color changed because my hat should change as well. Perfect. And then let's go to color, set value. We will do, either way, we're just gonna always change it here. All right, done. Now let's go to hat. Okay, so we're gonna need to do this in 2 different places. No, actually only one place. I think we only need to do this in one place. So if I go to my player, it's this guy that has to do it. So I have my VR player. Okay, so the VR player is going to listen for that signal. And it's only going to do it right now on my is not ready. I check if it's the multiplayer authority, aka is it the local player. So only the local player sets this stuff up, which is great. And then what I do, I am going to need to set a sync for that color, which is fine. We'll do that. But I will add, so at export var, actually, no, we know what that is. That comes across, that's all right, I'm gonna do this anyway. Color, and we're not gonna set that. What we'll do is when this is instanced, or when this is created, which is this is created inside of here, VR player, because we're going to have to do this in multiple places. So right here, where nope, that's the waiter. So we're going to look where we instantiate this, player.instantiate. We are going to right here do player.color equals player data.color, because then that'll match regardless of which person spawned. And we'll probably still do that color, so that way we'll sync it, so that way if the person changes it while it's happening, it will auto update. So we're going to do player.color equals that. Now I think that's good. We need to go back over to the VR player, and we're going to set some things up. Normally I'll do some things where that'll change. For now, we will do var material, and I'm going to clone the material from the left hand, and why would the VR player ever happen if it's not that? Oh well, that's not a problem. All right, so what we will do is left hand. Okay, so what we will do is we will grab the head. Actually, here's what we will do. So I'm trying to think how this is going to work on a replicated client. So the head and the hands are replicated across local and server. So the server is going to instantiate these. So this says, hey, if this is your own local client, you're going to instantiate the VR one because you're a VR player. So you need a head, 2 hands. Okay? Then what's going to happen is it is going to then add that to replicated children, which has a multiplier synchronizer, which will say, okay, anything that gets added by the owner of that pawn to the replicated children now spawn that on every other client, even if they're not the server or whatever, right? So that's why it's only if you own this player, and then if you are VR, you need to spawn children. If not, it's going to auto spawn. So what I've done in the past is this will get a color sync. The difference is I don't keep track of the children in there. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say material. We have a material. I'm going to have a func set color. Okay. This is going to be tricky. This is going to be fine. So what we'll do is we'll do color. Instead of doing this whole player thing, that's not right. What we're going to do is we're going to say if not material, right? So we don't have a material. We're going to go hunt for a material. Okay. So what we will do is we will then say replicated children if yeah, we should do that. If it's not inside the tree, return. We're gonna do that already, right? Perfect, because if it's not inside the tree, it's not gonna have those children anyway. Then we'll say if not replicated children dot is there a count dot get children count greater than 0 will return, right? Because we can't do anything with that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab the first replicated child in there, and we know that's not right. It is dot get surface. Actually, we need to look through. We just know these all. That's not right. That's not right at all, because those, we don't know what those are going to be, right? The hands versus the head are different, and we can't just set it on those. So we need to go, and I'll show you what we have in here. So inside of my VR player stuff, this creates games XR. That's right, because I have them in a shared place. Games XR. We have this whole remote head thing. And this guy, we need to go to its mesh and set its color. So what we're going to do, I am going to, on each of these, remote head and remote hand, I am just going to be lazy and do a set color. I'm going to add a color to each of them. And I think that will clean things up. That's how we're going to do it. We're going to do it at this level. Okay. Export color. All right. And I'm going to come back and deal with this later. Why is that complaining? I thought that was right. Oh, var. I forgot to write var. All right. Semicolons are optional. I do those a lot just because it's habit. So we're going to set this color. We're going to come back and do get sets on this thing, so that way it does things differently. But we are going to add that to both the hand and the head. And you'll notice I'm already exporting the animation stuff, so that way as you do animations, it goes across things, which is nice. All right. Totally fine. Perfect. So now what we'll do is this can grab its mesh, so that way I'm not having to hard code that. So the VR player is going to do that, and it's not even going to do this. It's just going to be for each, and it's not for each in here. So it's for C in remote. No, replicated children dot get children dot has, it's not that. We're going to do color in C. No, and it's lowercase, not that. So that's just where you say, does it have that property? We'll say C dot color equals color. Boom. All right, that's how the set color is going to work. Now what we're also going to do is we're going to come up here to where we set this. And this is stuff that had to do a lot. We'll do var color. Now here we will do get return color, set color equals value, and set color. And that needs to be value. All right. Now we're going to do that on each of the other ones. Oh, hello, Winky. Coming to say hello? My ugly, scary cat's coming to say hello. Perfect. All right. So now we have that. We're going to do the same thing on each of these, right? We're going to, and I'm just going to put it up here. So we already have this on remote head for the hat. So notice we already do that, right? Go through, loop through, set it. So I also want the VR player. Does that hat get set and where does it get changed? I'm actually curious. Find all references. So I don't know if I set that yet. Hello, Winky. All right. So let's go to the VR player. And what we'll do is we are going to, when we set the head, we will do head.hatID equals, okay, manager, no, that's not right. Head or hat ID. All right, so that is set. Now we're going to go through and we're going to do this for the colors. Left hand dot color equals, actually, let's just save the color off. Equals game manager dot user prefs dot color, and now we'll just say C. Right hand dot equals C, and we'll do this for the head too. Perfect. That is now going to get set off, and honestly, I don't have to set the color at this level now. You can go away. We don't need you. And now we don't have to do anything weird here, right? Because we're not going to do that. We're just going to set the color when it, oh wait, I wanted it in case they change in the menu. I'm not going to allow that for right now, so we're going to ignore that. If at any point I allow it, I will set it here. Actually, I need to. Darn it. Ignore that. We're going to have to do it. All right. We're also going to do game manager dot user prefs dot color change dot connect set color. That way I can go through and set that across, because that is going to happen. That's 100% going to happen. All right, perfect. We've got that. We've got that. Let's go to the head. Let's go to the hands. Let's do the hands because we can see that working. Color. We're just going to come down here. Forget all of the other stuff. That's all with the hands and how they work. Let's do func set color. And I'm just going to change that to be C so we're not overwriting the existing thing. I don't need to actually set that there. We'll do... No, we don't need to deal with this, right? And we don't need to do get children. We know exactly what we have because this is a hand. Our hands are the same. And it's not that one, it's this guy, right? So what we can do is, that's really annoying based on whether it's the left or the right. We are going to rename this to mesh. I can't because it is from a foreign scene. That's really annoying. That's not cool at all. Do I have a thing to grab the different mesh based on what it is already? Or the animation player does it? It's set. All right, this is how we're going to do it. No problem. At export var mesh and mesh. Yeah, mesh instance 3D. All right, So we're going to save that. Now when we come here, I can go to here and I can say hand mesh and we're just going to drag it. So now that is assigned, which is great. And we're going to do that to both hands. We have hands. All right, so now that we have those, I can go through and I can now grab its material and set it. So where were we at? We were in the hand and we were setting the color. All right, so what we're going to do, we are going to say var material equal material, and we will say we don't need a loop to those. We know that. Okay, so we can say if not material, and actually first we will say if not mesh, return. Mesh hasn't been set yet for any strange reason, just return. So if not material, material equals, did I name it uppercase mesh? All right, mesh dot get surface override material 0 duplicate. That should be right. Yeah, it says it is. I called that hand mesh, not mesh. All right, so now we say hand mesh, get that. Mesh set surface materials. No, it's going to be the same thing, but set. Set. And it asks which one, and the material. Now we have the material duplicated and cloned. We can now say material.color equals this. This is a lot of bouncing forth just to get that going. But that should work. So now when set color is called, that'll work. What? All right, so now we're going to go up to color. We're going to do a couple things. We are going to say color and var color. Perfect. I like it. Although I don't need to pass it around since we have that, but that works. Actually, I am going to change that because I don't like it. Now we don't have to ever call C because we can just call color. I like it. Now we'll go back up and fix that where it's broken. Now we need to do the same thing for the head. But let's test this first because I just wrote a lot of code, haven't ran it. Let's see what happens. All right, it's connecting. Let's run it. All right. Ah, the hands did not work. Come on. Something's not working. Something's not connected. Those might be the remote hands, not my local hands. I think that's it. So what we have is so that's the remote pawn, which is the one that gets replicated across. But before that ever happens, we have our own where does that lives here? This guy. That's these hands. So I think it changed it so the remote person, whoever's playing with me, would see it. If I remember right. If not, actually, let's just look at remote. Let's see what we have. Because actually, I don't think these guys render for some reason. Oh, no, it does right there. Right hand physics. There's its material. All right, let's add that hook one more place. No problem. All right. We are going to... this has this. XR tool has the hand material override. So I already have a material to grab for both of those, which has the same property, which is great. All right, so I have this, and it needs to know XR tools physics hand. All right, so that we'll just call it the hand model again. All right, and then we'll say, do that. Now here, we can drag that. And now left hand, we will do the same thing. No, I'm doing that in the right, no, I did in the right one. Okay, so now that those are set up, we can now, global, oh no, game manager dot user prefs dot color changed dot connect on color changed. All right, and now we'll do this again, func. I'm gonna copy and paste some of that code from before. That's not quite right. What we need to do is we need to do the whole material thing. Var material, and then we'll say if not material. Perfect, perfect. And now we will say material.color equals color. No, that is dot albedo color. All right, now we have awesome color overrides. I hope. Let's see if it works. Do I have different colored hands? Oh. Invalid X. What? What did I break? So me pointing to that, it does not like me. What I can do, we're going to change that. We're going to do this cleaner. So, because obviously I did something it does not like. And I don't like having to set that. So what we'll do is, instead of making that an export, and now we can go to our XR pawn. Instead of setting those, we're just going to kill that. Oh, I set set the pose to null doing that. All right, it's all right. We're just gonna do this, right? Discard. Now what we'll do is here on ready, we will do var for var or for C in get children. If C is XR physics tool, there. That's what we want to do. Now, what we'll do is we will do color changed just to set the initial color. I think that should fix it. And if so, I'm probably going to call it a day. It sounds like my kids are finally getting home from school. But we have built some fun UI today. Why is it not working right? It still has the pose stuff all wrong. Yes, I want to discard that. And close the pawn. Discard. Did that fix it? Because XR pawn has not changed now. Let's try that again. I'm live streaming. All right, let's see if this goes. Okay, we're getting somewhere. So non-existent call. Oh, because it's not called get surface override. It was something else in that thing. I just did it the way I've been doing it, which is incorrect. If we go to here, there is some material. Now I don't know what it's called. So we're going to have to go check that one more time. And let's hope it does not null something out on us again. All right, so this XR Tools has a hand override material. Hand material override. So we can just grab that rather than doing this whole get thing. Okay, and then we should just be able to say equals the new one. Although here we don't need to duplicate it because it doesn't matter because we want the hands to be the same, but I'm going to do it anyway. Just because it's what I'm used to doing. And we should have colorful hands now. And then we need to do the head, but we've made good progress. It did it again. It did it again. All right, I'm going to have to set that property so every time I open it, it doesn't clear it out on me. But for now, we'll just close it, reset it, rerun. And I'll dig that another time. Okay. Is that going? Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. What did I set it on before for my color? Remote hands. Should have done it on the head because it's much more. Okay. Oh, that's a surface shader. All right, my hands use a surface shader, which might not have that on it because surface shaders don't have that. So I'm gonna have to do the hands. I do an outline on the hands, which makes it cool looking. I think it looks cool. And so, yeah, we're just gonna copy this one for now. We're gonna ditch that because I don't need it anymore. And then my stupid pawn is gonna freak out again. Because yeah, see, it doesn't have that because yeah, it's the cool outline shader, which so is that one. So I am going to need to add an XPath to a standard material that will then tint it. But I don't want to do that right now because I don't have time. So I'm going to reset that, which is fun. I wonder what that should be. I need to see what's going on with that too, with the XR toolkit. But all right, this was fun. We have made some good progress on the stuff today. I'm going to have to change the material. I could just do new material. I want to test this so bad. So instead of that, we are going to just do a new standard material. Just because this is killing me. And we're this far. And it's close enough. And then what I'm going to do, because I don't know what's going on with that null, we are going to half commit this stuff. Because I don't know what it should be. And we'll have to look that up. Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right. So I'm just going to do that for right now. Disregard. Undo. And I closed that already, didn't I? No, I did not. All right. That's now going to undo that. Is it not? No, that's good. Okay. We can test it. We can test it. And then, oh, yes. Yes, I have green hands. That is fun. Okay, it's kind of cheesy. But I like that you can set your color. And you get to pick your hat. And I think I hooked up my hat changes. I don't know. I'd have to look in not VR as well. We've got some layout to do. I've got to finish the color picker stuff because that's really ugly. And I want to bring this whole menu thing closer to me. But this is looking good. And I probably want to put a mirror here so I can see myself, my head. And you can play with the googly eyes in your hat as it changes. I need to adjust the cowboy hat. I didn't notice those little poking through before. Okay, that's exciting. We have custom colors. And not only custom colors, but we have hats working. I need to finish this menu thing so you dismiss it and pop it up. But, and I need to return off. How do I scroll? I don't know how to scroll in VR. Okay, I need to add some visual cue in some way to scroll because there's a mic there. Grabbing this and doesn't do it. I need to tie into the joysticks. The joysticks should let you go up and down if you're pointing at it. I haven't done anything with controller support yet for this stuff. So controller. Okay, we're getting somewhere though. We are getting somewhere. I like it. I probably need to make those bigger. Those would look cooler, a lot bigger. But, all right. I'm happy with the progress we made today. Thanks for hanging out, guys. And we'll get this thing farther along in future streams. I'll probably have the menu done before I stream again, at least this part. A lot cleaned up and a lot better. But thanks, guys. That was fun. And talk to you guys later.